Hi everyone, Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. I'm thrilled today to bring you Brenda Lanigan, and I'm going to just quickly just say to you, she's an author and certified transformational lifestyle coach. How you doing today, Brenda?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm going to finish your biography and then we're going to get into it, okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Brenda. So she's a creator of What If Mindset Philosophy, a proven approach to help you rise stronger, freer, and more in tune with who you truly are. I know this path because I've walked it myself, she says. After facing my own divorce, I lost more than a partner. I lost my sense of identity, purpose, and self-worth. Through deep reflection, spiritual healing, and practical tools for empowerment, I learned to rebuild my life. So let's stop there and let's get into it now, Brenda. So thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here today.
Good, Brenda. Now let's go back to where it all started. How's that?
Mhm. Many, many moons ago, back in 1999, I separated from my husband, and it was very, it was just a really rough time. I had two small children, and yeah, it was very, very difficult. And realizing that you're all alone is just really, really scary, especially having two small children to look after and then just losing your partner and stuff. And I remember one day I was in the grocery store and I'm getting groceries and I'm putting all these things in the grocery cart and I stopped and I'm like, I don't even like these things. Why am I buying them? And then I stopped there and it's like, well, what do I like? Like, and I stood there and I didn't know because I had, just immersed myself in that relationship. I had lost who I was. And so I stood there and I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know, was it because, my husband liked it that I liked it. And it really took me a long time to figure that out. And um, working with possibilities, which is what if is all about, is, like, well, what's next? And just keeping moving forward. And that was the most important thing, to just keep putting one foot in front of the other to move through the experience that I was having.
Brenda, that's really good. I think a lot, I'm just, this is just my opinion. I think a lot of women do that. When I say women, I'm not negating that men stay home with families and take care, do that. We certainly have roles that are changing. But in general, I would think that most women are the ones that stay home with the children or and are the ones responsible for most of the child care.
Mhm.
So I think in general, we do in fact put ourselves back and we may not know or we may lose ourselves during that time. Is that fair?
Yes, absolutely.
And I agree with what you said. I think you have to find yourself. So let's go from there. How did you go? How did you launch your future from that moment?
Well, I worked with a shaman, actually. He was a friend of mine, and I was, in a place where, well, you should feel sorry for me because this happened to me. And he told me that he wasn't sorry for me, which I was just about ready to choke him at that point. But he said, like, you have your whole life ahead of you, and this does not have to determine who you are. He goes, you can change your life at any moment. And he said, what if this situation that you had was to move you on the path where you're supposed to be because you're not there? So, if I had continued along that path, I would have been in a totally different place now than where I am today. So, all these things came into play because I had made contracts with people before coming down here to say, okay, well, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to experience. However, if I'm not there at that point, you're going to have to knock me into that path because I really want to get there. So he goes, in essence, that's what happened. That, you don't know how these things are going to work out to move you into that path, and they're probably not the nicest things. However, it's going to get you into that path where you want to be and who you want to become. So it really changes the perspective on the experience that you're having. Instead of poor me, it's like, well, thank goodness that happened, or that could have, like I could be somewhere totally different. And I really, now I am the person who I want to be.
That's really good, Brenda. I've interviewed so many people, and I brought a message similar to that, saying it happened because it's supposed to happen. That's
Yes.
it. There's no poor me, coulda, shoulda. It
Hmm.
happened because it was supposed to happen. It got you here. And
Yeah,
this is now your opportunity to make it happen there. Because what we do today matters in the future. Does that make sense to you?
absolutely. Yes, most definitely.
And I think we lose sight of that sometimes. We think, poor me, I'm stuck in this. I'm stuck. No, you're not stuck. No. Put yourself out, push it away, and look at it from a distance and go, oh, I guess I tripped over that one. Now it's time to go looking forward. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, your message is all about that. So tell us from there what you did in your empowerment. Now you have children, were you working at the time, Brenda? Let me ask you that.
I had my own business. Yes.
Okay, so now you take your business, you have your children, now you're gonna go to another level. What happened?
Well, I had a cleaning business, and then I decided at that point that I've always wanted to be a social service worker. So I had the opportunity to go back to school and, become a social service worker, which was absolutely amazing. And also very, very frightening because just driving, like I live in Port Colborne, and when I was married there was only like a radius of like 30 kilometers that I would drive in. However, I got accepted in Toronto,
Oh,
so I was driving to Sheridan every single day.
that's a
And
long way from Port Colborne. I know where that
it
is.
is, and it's really, really stressful for somebody who's not used to that. Plus, leaving at home, my daughters who, were old enough to get themselves to school and stuff, but my youngest had anxiety, and she's like, please don't go, something's going to happen. So having that on top, it's just like I was a bundle of nerves by the time I got there, and then getting home each day was like, phew.
Ah,
But through that, I was able to, graduate and have a wonderful career in social service work, which I absolutely loved. And I worked with men with severe mental health and addiction issues that were homeless, and I would teach them life skills. So I've been a holistic practitioner for like 30 some odd years now, and so I would bring in the holistic part, so the gratitude and all those different things that they really don't teach in life skills. They're like, oh well, I've done these life skills. I'm like, oh, you haven't done these life skills. And the first one I did, I had them color mandalas. Wow. You got all these big huge guys and they're like, well, what are we doing today? I'm like, we're gonna color. And
oh,
they're
that's
just like,
wonderful.
they were rolling their eyes and everything, and I had all this stuff laid out. So I'm like, you can pick any of them you want. And so I put some music on, and within 5 minutes, they were so focused on coloring, and they're looking for certain colors and all that sort of stuff. And then after the hour, because I only had them for an hour, I'm like, all right, you're free to go. And they're like, what do you mean? We want to keep coloring. And they said that's the first time they've been able to get out of their head and stop thinking about all the things that were going on. So from that is how I created my book, What If? It's planting those seeds of possibility, because when you're in something, you can only see what's right in front of you, instead of like, well, what if I made this the best day ever? What would that look like? And I was like, I don't know. And then you start thinking about it. So what you're doing here is your brain's thinking, well, what if I was to make this the best day ever? What would I do? You know, and then it goes off into these different things, and then your brain starts looking for those things to bring them into reality.
That's really good. So really what you're doing is bringing it back to the present, calming
Hmm.
down. That's mindfulness, doing the coloring. From my life experience, that's what that would be. And then all those wonderful people that you had in your coaching class now all of a sudden are centered and they can see life for, oh, it's not as bad as I've been perhaps making it out to be. I like that, Brenda. That's a very good analogy of what they went through. And we all do it, don't we? We get lost in a thought and we just build all this anxiety up over nothing. And then when you, like you said, if you say, well, what if this actually worked out in my favor? What if this was something that if I look at the next day, because I did this and I went through this, something even better is going to happen for me. But while we're in it, we don't see it, right?
Yeah. And it's the gratitude as well, because they burned like bridges upon bridges. And it's like, well, what do you have to be grateful for today? And they just kind of look at me like, really? I don't have a home. I don't have, I've lost my family. I've lost everything. What do I have to be grateful for? Well, it's sunny today. You had a big breakfast today. Your bellies are full. You have a safe place to stay tonight at the shelter, So I bring in these different things. And by the end of the week, they would have their hand up with more than one thing to share. So it's bringing that gratitude in to go, okay, even though things really, really suck right now, there is still things to be thankful for. You're breathing, you're alive, and that's really important.
It sure
So,
is. A lot of people can't say that.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
exactly.
truth, and it's really the hard truth. I've had the pleasure of meeting a lot of people who've overcome extreme adversity, beyond words adversity, that have done really well, and they just send the same message. You got to just see it for what it is and start looking at the positive, even as you said, even if it's I'm awake today. I got up, I'm awake. I see the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
So when you're doing your journey, do you do coaching one-on-one? Do you do organizations are you still working in the social work field?
No, I retired from that in 2017, and then that's when I started writing my book. But I do one-on-one coaching as well as group coaching, and I teach classes here in Port Colborne, and I'm just beginning to get everything set up online so I can do online courses, and people from all over the world can then take courses online.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Hmm.
Brenda, well done. You see, you're achieving things because you had adversity as well. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so divorce said, and being a single mom, now all of a sudden you're forced to make decisions that move you into a different direction, and it is scary. And by the way, everyone, it's always scary to make the next move, right, Brenda?
It is, and and that's what life is all about. It's about stretching your comfort zone, or you're not going to grow. You're not going to transform. You're going to stay right exactly where you are. It's just like being a little kid and learning how to sit up, and or walk and do all those things. If we're just like, oh, that's too scary, I'm just going to sit here. Well, then you're going to sit there for the rest of your life, Got to get up and get moving.
Yeah, and that's actually a very good thing to think about because when we do start out in life, we don't have a clue. We got to figure it out. We got to fall down, fall down, fall down until we start go, oh, I can get up there. And actually, sometimes you have a big sister, a big brother that you want to catch up to, and you tend to try to follow them. So you even have mentors when you're young, and you can
Yeah.
do that when you're older too, right? You can have a mentor. You can say, hey, Brenda did it. Brenda's doing it. I can do it too. Someone else went through this. I can do it too. I quite believe in that, in following. You don't necessarily have to be that person, but I read a lot of motivational books myself. I read a lot of documentaries of people who've achieved things. And it doesn't mean I want to necessarily be that, but I want to know how did they get there? And can I use those tools to get where I want to go? Is
Mhm.
that fair, Brenda?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you have a tool that you're able to help people. How are you about goal setting and things like that? Do you do courses on that?
Oh, yes, I do.
That's
I'm doing
huge, isn't
another
it?
one in March. I did one at the beginning of January for the year, and I'm doing it again in March, right around spring solstice. for those that like to start their goal setting around that time, when spring is coming and everything starts to grow. So, yes, and I do goal setting as well, and it's a big thing. If you think about it, more people like, well, the more of the population spend their time focusing on their trips and planning out trips than they do their whole life.
That's very interesting.
You know,
Very
like you
interesting.
ask people, do you have goals? Have you written them down? Well, no, but if you're going on a trip, do you know what you're doing? Oh, yeah, of course I do.
I got the itinerary, Brenda. I know exactly where I'm going, what plane I'm on, when I'm gonna arrive, what I'm gonna wear. I gotta go shopping for it. That's all
Yeah.
those baby steps up to the final goal to get there, right? And you are 100% bang on. Exactly what you should be sending that message out, and good for you, because if you're gonna go from here to here, you need to know how to get there, and you need to put those baby steps in between to get there. But most people don't do it. I agree with you. I start every year I write out my goals, and I listen to my motivational books. I have certain ones that I like to bring forward, and I bring them out to the audience, because whether they follow it or not is up to them. But I like to show you this is what I do, and I think it's a good tool to have. So Brenda, we're gonna want your book.
Oh, absolutely.
You
I've
have a
got,
copy of it there? Oh,
I
perfect. Thank
do.
you.
Yes. So
Just
this is
tilt it
it.
back a bit. There we go, because we
There
couldn't see
we
the front of
go.
it. Perfect. So now to get what if, I'm thinking Amazon, you can go on Amazon and get it.
Yes. Amazon has it. It's called What If 365 Positive Possibilities for Your Life. It's a pretty big title, but there's one what if for each day of the year, plus leap year.
Oh, I
So
like
it's
that.
not a long read. It's a great way to start your day, and there's a couple different ways you can use it. So if you're looking for some inspiration, just hold your book and go, okay, what is my message for the day? And just open it up, and whatever page you see first, that is your message for the day. Or you can start at the beginning and go to the end. It's totally up to you, or just pick and choose however you want to do it. There's no right or wrong way to use it.
That sounds like a fun way to do it. I like that stuff when you just open up and go, oh, this must be my message, right? I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I somehow think the whole universe is working in my favor all the time. I always think everything's gonna work out. Good or bad, it's gonna work out, and it's gonna be in my favor. It doesn't matter. It's gonna work out.
Well, even the bad things aren't really bad when you look back going, okay, well, that had to happen. I really don't like the way that that happened, but
There
it
was a better,
happened because I needed to get here. So,
there's a
yeah,
better plan, right?
absolutely.
So what other tools do you have? So you talk about writing it out, you writing your goals, you're talking
Yeah.
about meditation. What other tools do you have for people?
Actually, I created a deck of oracle cards as well. So when I mentioned that I went to school in Toronto, that year, at the beginning of the year, my friend had asked me if I would use essential oils for a year. And I knew about essential oils. I didn't really know anything about them, so I had no expectations, because she was writing a book and she needed somebody's, thoughts on, how they felt. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I could do that. So I used 52 different oils. So I'd use one oil for a week and then change. And I wrote down all my findings. And by the middle of that year, my life had changed so much. And by the end, to be able to drive to Toronto, like that was huge. And I never would have considered it if I hadn't used these oils. So I created a deck of oracle cards because I found once I started using them myself after this year, there's a lot of information out there and it's really overwhelming. So what better way to bring into the essential oils into your life, but to pick a card, breathe in the oil, and then start your day. So it's
So,
really,
so,
really quick.
so you're saying our senses of smell are also integrated while you're doing your planning of the day to,
Oh,
so perhaps
absolutely.
like lavender, I understand is for calming, uh,
Mhm.
different oils for different, is that the idea with the oils?
Yeah, and each oil has its own personality, shall we say, and they're very, very gentle. So you don't realize what those essential oils are doing to your mindset, to your emotions, to your physical body until you look back after a while and go, well, I wouldn't have considered that before, but now it's a possibility. And now I'm thinking, no, I could do that, and before it's like, no, that's a hard no. I'm not doing that at all. But it turns out that yes, I can do that. And it's because of the oils, and they change, and they're very gentle, and they're wonderful to use. Like, who doesn't like a smelling essential oils every day? Like, it's just awesome. It's an
Well,
awesome way
yeah,
to
I
start the
was
day.
thinking that's very interesting. I've not, I mean, I've heard of oils. I certainly have. And I've heard different ones do like I like the smell of vanilla and different ones, but I hadn't thought that, yeah, if you use those oils, that's another sensory perception that's being integrated into your thought process. So I'm thinking that if you did that even before you went to bed, I don't know about you, but I listen to tapes before I go to bed. I like my calming tapes and my motivational tapes or whatever I'm listening to, so I can repeat in the background of my mind before I go to bed. I don't watch nightmare things, so I don't know if other people do, but that's what I do. I'm thinking that might be something to do just before that too. That would be a neat addition to it.
It depends. It's better to do it in the morning because
I
some
have
of
to
those
stop you,
oils.
Brenda. We need to know what your cat's name is.
Oh, her name is Baby, and
She
she's
keeps walking behind you,
yeah,
so I'm gonna come back to you. Oh, baby, she's so
yeah.
cute.
She's an old girl. She found us. Somebody left her behind when they moved, and she found us. My daughter is a registered vet tech, and when she was in high school still, she worked at the local humane society, and they're like, well, you should get like a styrofoam cooler and then cut a hole and put hay in there so any animals that are out in the winter time can find shelter. So she's like, Mom, we have to do that. So I'm like, okay, that's fine, so she did that, and lo and behold, Baby showed up.
Oh,
And my daughter Nikki took her into the Humane Society in case somebody was looking for her, and they weren't. Well, good for us, but they gave her shots and spayed her, and gave her back to Nikki as her first rescue.
oh, that's a
Uh,
wonderful story. Oh,
yeah, so
well,
she's
we're glad baby's with you.
she's
So
about
we'll
20
go back
now.
to our show, but she kept walking, and I have Jewel. My cat's name's Jewel. She's a
Aw,
beautiful black with beautiful green eyes, and I just love her. And every now and then she just kind of makes her visit and then leaves. So I just saw a baby. I just wanted to do that. So let's go back
yeah,
to where we were, and
no
thank you
worries.
for indulging with us. So
Yeah, that's
continue.
okay. So with essential oils, sometimes it's not good to use them at night because they could be hot oils, which would be like cinnamon and black pepper and things like that,
Oh,
which
okay.
is going to get you moving.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Which
that
is
would be
not
good, wouldn't it?
good.
I'd be calling Brenda. Brenda, I don't think this is working. I want to paint the house tonight.
Yeah, exactly. Clove is like, if you want ideas, clove is, when I use that, I phone my friend because like we talk all the time, so I could tell her like how I was feeling, and I'm like, well, and and every day, and I'm like, holy crap,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
clove is the one for ideas. So yeah, it's better in the morning to use the essential oils
Okay.
unless you're talking about like lavender or something like that that is a calming one, but it can go both ways. Depending on how you're feeling, it can um energize you as well. So it's better to do it in the morning. It's just a
Oh,
nice way to start
I
your
wouldn't
day as
know that.
well.
So there, I
Mhm.
learned something new, Brenda. I wouldn't have thought that. Because people have baths at night before they go to bed.
Yeah.
I used to bathe my babies when they were little, and I'd have little lavender soap. We had those lavender things, and let them, and then they go to sleep with it. And I guess I just thought they were going because they were just tired. But we like to think we're doing the right things as moms.
Yep, exactly.
You're right.
You do what you know, and that's good.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you, Brenda. I wouldn't have ever thought that the oils, that's very interesting because I think, and I do motivational speaking as well. And you're doing coaching and teaching, and that's wonderful. I think of all the things that people go through, and I've certainly been through my experiences, and I do think it's so important that we get out of the outside world, shut it down, close our eyes, and I do meditation, as I said, and mindfulness. I'm not as good with the mindfulness, I have to admit that, because I do tend to overthink things. So I try to do mindfulness, but it doesn't work as well for me. It's better for me just to shut everything down. But whatever works for people, you've got the tools, Brenda, for them all to go. And I do like incorporating the sense. I think that's a quite a unique idea as well.
And it's fun, you know, life is about being fun and having fun and doing fun things and not the, oh, I gotta do this, you know. No, it's like something exciting. I look forward to it in the morning because I get to smell essential oils and that's just awesome. And I get my grandkids into it. My grandkids are around. Like any old essential oil bottles that had run out, I would put them in I had a little case for my grandson. He was 2 and he would give them to me and then I'd take the lid off and he'd smell it and because the scent is still there and he just loved it, you
Oh,
know.
good. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's nice. See, and we all get a warm feeling now. That's it. I've got this warm feeling up here that says I
Yeah.
just love it. So that's wonderful, Brenda. Now when you're doing your courses, they're all online, I'm thinking.
They will be, yes. I'm just working on getting those up there now.
Oh, good, good. And are they based on your book, or are they sort of outliers of other things that you have going on?
They are based on my book as well as I've got a Rediscover You program, which is helping women who are moving through divorce or have gone through divorce and just are just kind of discombobulated going, I don't know which way is up right now. And so I have a program to help them work through and put those boundaries in place and just all those things that are really important for us to regain our power and to be strong and confident in ourselves.
If I was to ask you for three tips, three ideas, or three topics, whatever, three tools that people would have, what comes to mind for you?
Gratitude,
Okay.
to be thankful for wherever you are today and that you are still here because that's really important. Like, yeah, you might not feel the best and life might suck right now, but you know what? You're right here and you're doing your best. And to honor your body and how you're feeling and to celebrate that because that's really important. There's a reason why you're here and it's important that you're here. So to keep that in mind that tomorrow's another day and it might be raining today, but it doesn't mean it rains forever. The sun does come out, so it might not be tomorrow.
Yeah,
It might be
exactly.
the next day, or you might see that sun for a little bit and then it'll come back out. But it's moving forward, even if that's like, I'm gonna just sit and binge watch TV. That's okay too, because you're honoring your body and what your body needs. And don't beat yourself up about it. That's number one. If you're gonna do something, do it and enjoy it to the fullest. Because if you beat yourself up about it, you're not enjoying it. And so your body's not getting the benefit from it that it would have. So like I've taken the day and binged watched TV and I enjoy it to the fullest. I have snacks and it's like, oh yeah. And then tomorrow it's like, all right, I'm back and doing what I want. But I enjoyed it to the fullest and that's what my body needed. And now I'm doing this. And that's all it is. It's not like, well, I just ate a whole box of cookies and now I just blew it for the rest of the year. No, you make a different choice your next choice and you just move on and you don't beat yourself up about it because that's just it's not good.
Not good.
And to just see those possibilities, plant those seeds of possibility because you never know where they're going to show up and how they're going to uh, come to you and what miracles. Like, you are a miracle. All the things that had to happen for each one of us to be here is an absolute miracle.
It's true.
And to see yourself as a miracle is really, really important Because like, look at our body, all those things that our body does behind the scenes that we don't have to think about. We don't have to write it down as well. I got to remember to breathe, and then I got to remember to digest my food, and I got to remember to do this. No, our bodies just do it, which allows us to do the things that we're here to do and to share with the world. So remember, you're a miracle, and you're unstoppable, and you're infinite possibility and infinite potential. So what do you want to do today?
Exactly, taking it on, right?
Hmm.
You did a great job today, you know that.
Oh, thank you.
I mean it. Now hold your book up one more time.
Sure.
Beautiful. Everyone, you want to get what if and read the whole title because as you do that, I can't see the whole title. So can you read it out?
Sure. What if 365 positive possibilities for your life?
Thank you. And I make sure it's in the bio down here for the YouTube. Do you have a YouTube channel? I wasn't sure
I
if you.
do. Yes, I do.
So we want to make sure that everyone, if you subscribe to Brenda's channel, I'll make sure it's up here as well. And subscribe to mine, please. That really helps us bring content back to you and keeps us going. And we have some great insights we like to bring back and forth. So that's important. And we do appreciate all your support. Brenda, thank you. This has been a really wonderful, wonderful interview. I'm really grateful that you came on. Oh, see, there's gratitude. Grateful that you came on, and I mean that. And yeah, you are a terrific, terrific person. And I know your book's doing well. I know your courses are going to just be amazing as you keep going. So I'll keep looking for those. And yeah, and we'll have you back on the show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me today. It's been lovely being here and chatting about what I love to do and to share.
Yeah,
So,
you did great. We really appreciate it. And to everyone else, this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. I hope you're all having a great day, and I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Thank you again. Bye bye.